This is the Pokemon game where you are stuck in the underworld as a researcher and have to survive and figure out all the puzzles. So, if you guys are ready for Pokemon Kensho, let's get started right away. And so, our journey in Kensho starts off with the intro screen and us getting introduced to the game as well as some characters. We are part of a research team, that's going deep below the earth into some sort of cavern. However, something happens. There is a warning light and it looks like our drill machine, is about to crash, and that's exactly what happens as we wake up in the blasted ruins. Here we're stuck in the pod, nobody else is answering, and it looks like potentially some of the other people that might have been in other pods may have passed away. We choose to play as the female character. We call ourselves simply Ruffled Plays because that's the name of the channel, as you guys know. We do get a call from Pabloski, who's specifically the professor who's kind of ushered us to come down here. We are part of this research team, but we're also the newbie of this research team, so keep that in mind. Also, we have ourselves a brand new Pokemon. It's specifically a Sneasel, a flying type Sneasel. Now, Pabloski tells us about this land. It's some weird, strange place with a lot of dangers as well as bizarre things happening in it. So, our mission is to simply go through everything here. We found ourselves some Pokeballs inside of one of these bags. So now we have some Quick Balls, some Great Balls, and some regular Pokeballs, which will come in handy. As we start exploring, we discover some interesting things. For example, there's loads of Pokemon out here, but they don't always want to, battle you, right? For example, this Ninetales is just simply looking at us. It doesn't actually want to battle us, which is really strange.
Oh shit, okay.
And as you may notice, yes, this Skorupi is a custom form. It's a brand new form. There's loads of regional forms in this game, which you can discover. I didn't even find all of them. There's still more to be discovered, but this was definitely one of them. Either way, once exploring a little bit of time here, we go around trying to find where we're supposed to go to next. There are supposed to be puzzles in this game. Actually, quite difficult puzzles sometimes. I really got stuck in a lot of moments where I couldn't really figure out what to do. However, eventually, as we're looking around, we find ourselves specifically a little Helioptile, and I decide, well, you know what, it would be nice to have another Pokemon on our team, so we decide to capture it. We go for a Quick Ball, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen, we were very quick to capture this one, as it does go right into our team. As for its nickname, well, we try to go for Pika Reject, because it is a Pikachu Reject, so it is what it is. Don't judge me for the name. Either way, we find a little cave, and this is actually one of the first puzzles you can do in the game. Now, I didn't really know what to do in here. I was just a little bit lost, so I decided to leave and continue exploring, and we do find some signs. Now, there's loads of these signs all around the map, but you can't actually look and see what's inside of them, as well as these Explorer books. Now, these Explorer books are these logs that were written by someone who left the books down in this desert. However, we don't really know who left it, but they tell us that they dropped their dusting kit, a kit that can be used to probably make those signs a bit more visible. Also, we find some of these weird spots where you can kind of these waypoints, so to say. Again, all these signposts are impossible to read, so we keep exploring. We also check out some of the moves we have on our Sneasel, which are pretty awesome, and we find ourselves some extra logbooks back in the original cave we entered earlier. Again, it's another one of these books from the Explorer book, or pages rather, from the Explorer book that we look around for. So, we also find a pod that's landed kind of the opposite side of where we landed. We also find a revival herb, as well as some rare candy. Then we find a massive house. Now, this place is big, because inside of here, ladies and gentlemen, we find a interesting thing, specifically the dusting kit. Now, the dusting kit was mentioned earlier in one of the logbooks, right? Now, as we use the dusting kit, we can actually read what these things say, and this one says to stand on the red panel next to the wall and then more or less interact with the wall. So as we stand next to the panel, we just press 3 times, and guess what? Something opens inside of the cave. Specifically, a door opens up. Inside of this door, we find, well, 3 or 4 weird pots that have nuggets inside of them, but also a strange-looking diamond. We decide to interact with it, and as we do that, a ton of Yamask show up, which is...
Oh, no! Oh, shit!
So yeah, there's loads of these Yamask here. It is a bit scary, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys.
Oh! We got saved by Rockruff! Let's go!
Yeah, Rockruff shows up, and it's our little saving boy as he comes in and tries to save us. Now, this battle is crazy. Look at the amount of Yamask right in front of us here. It is freaking incredible. However, we use Wing Attack, and it does a decent amount of damage. However, we're not doing enough, and thankfully, Rockruff is there to help us out with the Sand Attack, lowering the accuracy of all these Yamask combined, more or less. But eventually, after a lot of tries, if and buts, we do get them eventually with some Mud Slaps, thanks to the help of Rockruff. And of course, we also have Rock Throws out of him, and also Heliolisk is also coming in as well. But ladies and gentlemen, we end up defeating them, and guess what? The little Rockruff is happy, and we get the golden diamond. So now we have our first diamond. And these diamonds serve as sort of a thing that you collect, similar to badges, right? to gym badges. So guess what? Rockruff also joins us in our team, and we find ourselves some citrus berries as well inside of that cave. So now that we found this, we go and look at some of these other signs. This specific door says that we need 3 diamonds to be able to access it. So now that we know that, well, we're going to be having to return there later. Also, what is going on over here with these Flygons? It's just random. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, we find another post that says 1 diamond needed, search the fortresses. So if we have 1 diamond, something will happen here. And guess what? A little door opens up into this cave, which is fantastic. As we get inside of here, we find a weird little oasis. There's water, there's grass, but the craziest is this place right here, the Azure Oasis. It literally has grass in it, where we find Pokemon like that, like Trumbeak, as well as a fight happening in front of us. As we go up there, something crazy is going on. There is a weird Hippowdon.
Oh, shit. Okay. Whoa, what's going on? Okay. Hey, yo, what's going on, boys?
Well, a fierce battle is going on. It looks like there's another human down in this weird desert, and this person is battling the Hippowdon, but they're not strong enough to defeat them on their own, so we decide to help out. And this is another regional form in this game. It's a regional water-type Hippowdon, which is pretty freaking cool. Now, it is kind of difficult to actually defeat, but with the help of this person and their Honchkrow, we're able to do enough damage and a few, wing attacks here and there, and it is done. Also, our Rockruff evolves into a Lycanroc, which is perfect as well. It just adds to the little bonus right here. Either way, we talked to the person, and it turns out their name is Bernard, and Bernard here is specifically someone that, kind of got stuck down here too. We talked to him, and he tells us that he'll be looking over us, and he also gives us a golden diamond that he found. So now we have 2 diamonds, which are necessary. We found another cave, which tells us that we can go, behind some rocks in the, east. As we do go over there, we do find this door, which requires 5 diamonds. So this is actually going to be probably the final door to enter, I would argue. But we find this sketchy little area that has an odd fragment inside of it. It's kind of like a rock space that you have to kind of break down like a wall. And then we just go around looking for more Pokemon and just, whatever might be out there for us in this case. We go back to the original cave, and we spin around on this red little spot, and that opens up a new puzzle. Now, this puzzle is a bit different. We have to move all these, rocks onto the red spots. And after doing this for a while, which I'm not even gonna lie, took a bit of time just to flip them all into position. It's kind of just like using strength in a regular Pokemon game. It's a lot of flipping around, trying to get them in the right position and moving things the correct way. But after doing that for a bit, guess what? Another diamond unlocked, and we now have 3 of them. So now that we have 3, we decide to open up this door because we required 3 to open it up. So now that we have that, we can get into a brand new zone. And so we're about to enter a new frontier. As we enter into this place, there is a sketchy cave, and on the other side, we also get ourselves the Azure Oasis again, so there is multiple versions of it in this case. But after getting through multiple different layers of it, we eventually reach a new area. We find another piece of the 4th page of the Explorer's Book, but also we get to a new place. And here, who's waiting for us if not Bernard? It turns out that he came before us, which is really weird. It feels like he knows something that we don't know, but it is what it is. Either way, now that we're here, we're going to be, interacting with anything that we find. The first thing is this random pole on the left side. As we talk to it, something strange goes down. Something very, very strange. There is a dong, a sort of bell attached, and we decide to actually ring the bell. As we do this, a weird cutscene plays. There is a strange Pokemon in the grass that we're looking at, and it hears the sound of the bell, and all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, the weirdest thing I've ever seen happens. There is a Pokemon just dashing at crazy speeds all the way to us, and jumps in front of us, and this happens. It's weird.
Oh my god, what is that? What? Okay.
So yeah, it's a weird primal version of Chansey. I don't even know how to explain it, but it heals our team. And you can use this Chansey to heal yourself at any given point. This is basically the equivalent of a healing spot. Either way, we also get the first page of the Explorer book, so I think now we have all the pieces that were required, thanks to Bernard here. Now that it's time to go exploring, we'll go around in the grass for a little bit. We, of course, encounter a few Pokemon along the way, but the freaking coolest Pokemon we encounter is a regional Zubat. So yes, I decided, yes, I'm going to catch myself a regional Zubat. This one looks to be a grass type in this case, so after just hitting it with a few moves, we decide to actually capture it. It does put us to sleep, which is a little bit annoying. I'm not even going to lie, it is a bit frustrating, but it's not the end of the world. We just go in and use ourselves some Great Balls, and eventually, after a bit of trying, we do actually capture it. And once we add it to our team, of course, the question is, what will we call it? Well, I decided to just simply call it Good Bat, because I am not very creative. Now that we have that, we enter some strange little building. Inside of this building, there is a sign as per usual, and it says someone has taken this place over. Inside, we find something that looks a little bit like, I guess you could argue Spiritomb. it has seemingly that similar thing to it in terms of design. It tells us if we want to face the trial. And we decide, okay, we're ready. Let's take on the Mossy Keystone. So we battle the Mossy Keystone, which I'm guessing probably belongs to Spiritomb. And as we're taking it on, something weird happens. See, this Keystone requires us to answer questions. It asks us how many bells exist from this fortress to the desert. Now, I didn't really remember, but I assumed it was somewhere around 3. Well, I think it was wrong, because if you do get it wrong, then the Keystone will actually talk to you and it will complain about you. It also uses Confuse Ray, which is a little bit annoying. Actually, in this case, we use Confuse Ray from our Vulpix, which is coming in really handy. Also, I should mention, we did capture a Vulpix earlier on. It was perfect. Either way, it asks us how many Yamask we fought. We said 8, and it seemed like it was correct, because every time you get it correct, the Keystone actually stays silent. So now we put Fire Spin on it to make sure we can do like that tick damage over time. And after doing this for a long while, the last question is, an Emipom uses Tackle on a Sandile in the Harrowing Hail. How many times is Sandile struck in this fight? I answer 2, because you're hit by the Tackle, but also by the Hail, because you guys know how Hail works. You know, a Snowstorm in Pokemon is going to, hurt you. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, we do end up defeating it, and guess what? Goodbat also evolves in the process of this, which is perfect, as we now have an evolved Pokemon, but also we unlock another one of the diamonds. So another diamond is going to be added into our inventory, which is perfect. So now we have, I think, about 6 of them in total. As we keep exploring, we find a rare candy, which is perfect, as we can just level up our Pokemon to make them stronger, and let's enter the Vulcan Mountain. This seems to literally be a volcano in this case, and as we go through it, we also enter this new area, this kind of crystallized zone, and if we interact with these rocks right here, they basically reset the whole place. Now, I'm not gonna lie, there was so many puzzles in here. There is a ridiculous amount of puzzles inside of this cave to do, and at one point I genuinely just got stuck. I didn't really know what to do, but along the way we do capture ourselves a Riolu at some point in here, and you will just notice that I get frustrated at one point here. I didn't really know what to do as I got stuck, but eventually, and I really mean eventually, took a while, we do figure out where to go and what to do. Now, there isn't really a reward in here, I would argue. You just kind of get stuck, more or less. There's not really much crazy stuff in here. I mean, there's just a lot of puzzles for the most part. But eventually, after going through all of this hell, we do get the ability to leave this place. And once we've left it, we can now go back and interact with Bernard. And that's exactly what we need to do, because at this point, well, what else is really left to do? Besides running into some sketchy-looking Pokemon, like this really weird-looking Toxel. It is, again, a regional form. I decide, well, guess what? I'm going to capture it. So that's exactly what we go for. We go for the Great Ball. It doesn't work on the first try, but the second time around, it does work, and we nickname it Twitter because, again, I don't really have a lot of creativity, lads. Either way, we go back and talk to Bernard. He tells us about all this crazy stuff, or we tell him about all the crazy stuff we found and what he thinks about all of it. And at this point, we're both kind of just confused. What are we supposed to do? Do we now go back now that we have 5 or 6 of these diamonds? Well, we have exactly 5, so we can open the secret door, which we couldn't access earlier. So once we've done that, ladies and gentlemen, we access this strange room, and there is a really cool Pokemon in here. It is the coolest Pokemon, Regional Drapion.
Ooh, yo, that is a sick Drapion.
So yes, this Drapion is sort of like a little mini-boss. We use our Golbat, aka Goodbat, and after a few Mega Drains, we do defeat this thing, and it is gone, giving us access to the 6th diamond in this case. Now that we have 6 of these, well, guess what? There should be about 2 more to go. So we enter the Tangled Tree Stops, and here there looks to be something strange going on. There is a conflict. There is a Porygon in this case being surrounded by a bunch of wild Pokemon. There is an Apom in there, there is a Yamega, there is freaking Scythers and stuff, but Bernard seems to be trying to help out this Porygon rather than helping out these Pokemon that are trying to attack. And across the little river up there, there's also 2 weird Pokemon as well. Either way, it turns out that this Porygon may belong to somebody we know. And on the other side, the adversaries are. These are some weird-looking Pokemon. I don't really know what they are at first, but we eventually realize what they're supposed to be, as we're going to be having to battle them, and thanks to Porygon, Z in this case, he's able to actually get them over to the other side of the lake, as he just simply yells "begone" to them. Now that they're on this side, we can actually battle them, so me as well as, well, guess what? Me and Bernard, in this case, I think, end up taking them on. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be able to defeat these Toxtricities. Now, these are special, again, regional versions of Toxtricities, and these guys are going to be really difficult to defeat. So, we do switch over our Pokemon a little bit, and I guess we have to do this solo. I guess Bernard just didn't want to help us out. By the way, we lose our Vulpix, aka Naruto. We switch over into a Lycanroc, and I'm a little bit scared because these guys do a lot of damage. We go for Wing Attack on one of them, and then we also try to go for a Sand Attack, or actually Bite in this case, hoping it's going to do enough damage. However, I don't really know what the typing is of these toxicities. I mean, they're regional forms, so it could literally be anything. But the biggest problem here is we're having a hard time actually defeating them. They take out almost 3 of our Pokemon, and we have to switch over into Pika Reject, and I think even he's not going to be able to do a lot. But either way, we switch over into our Lombre as well as our little Golbat, and we try to do the best we can. Giga Drain is coming in first, and we also try to go for, I guess in this case, Bubble, hoping that will do enough, because I didn't really know, are they fire types? Are they dark types? Like, what are they actually? It really wasn't super clear. But now that one of them is very low HP, and this is the thing we try to focus on, was trying to get their HP down on one before focusing in on the other, to make sure that, like, at least if we're going to be hit by either of them, that at least only one of them is going to be damaging us. And I'm going to be honest, if we didn't have Good Bat, this would have been really difficult. But eventually, after a few Giga Drains, we do get one of them. And now there only is, in this case, one more Pokemon left that we can use, which is Pika Reject as well as Good Bat. So we go in and we try our best. Mud Slap comes in this case, but it doesn't even have time to hit, so we just have to Giga Drain as much as we can off of these toxicities. The first hit, though, does a decent amount of damage. I'm not even gonna lie. I decide, you know what, it's not worth the risk. Let's make sure we just revive one of our Pokemon. So we go in and revive Lycanroc to make sure he's gonna be able to survive this. The discharge hits us, and we do get paralyzed, which is a little bit problematic. So that kind of gives me an idea that, okay, maybe the Pokemon we're actually taking on here is more or less, you know, electric typed in this case still. So, you know, we shouldn't be that worried about it. So I decided to switch another Pokemon in, but that doesn't really work out either, as, well, guess what? Good Bat dies. So now that we have Lycanroc in this case, I decide, you know what, let's go in for the bite. Maybe it'll be enough damage, but eventually we realize, no, we should probably Revival Herb in this case. We need Good Bat back. So Good Bat is the only thing that can technically do enough damage to defeat these things. And again, really difficult battle. I'm not even going to lie. We just had to heal a lot. We had to revive ourselves a lot, hoping that the bite in this case was going to hit again, but it doesn't. So Good Bat has to come in and sort of save us in this case with the Giga Drain. He hits us with another discharge. It doesn't get the paralyzed this time around, and we do get a lot of HP back just from hitting that. And then another discharge comes in. This time we do get paralyzed, but our Giga Drain does hit, which means, ladies and gentlemen, that we have defeated, I guess, the big baddies of this game. Because guess what? That's pretty much it in this case. We finish that up. We get our Pokemon healed up in terms of, I guess, everything. And then we also get an evolution for Good Bat, as we now have ourselves a regional Crobat. Its face does look a little bit goofy, but I still like it. I still appreciate it. And we have the ability to learn to move Haze. Now, I decided not to go for that. Now these 2 Pokemon are gone. And we also encountered the person that was actually inside of the tent. Now, who was that? Well, it was actually another one of the researchers, one of the people that we were down here with. As we talked to the person right there, we learned about what's been going on. Now that we know what's been happening, that they've been hiding in this tent and in this part of the forest, we head back to the initial area we started in, and guess what, ladies and gentlemen, this is where the demo of the game ends, and this is pretty much where the video is going to be ending as well. So yeah, I want to just thank you guys all for watching. This game has about 7 diamonds you can get your hands on. We got 7 diamonds, and there is an 8th one, but that's not in this demo, unfortunately, as far as I can tell. But yeah, thank you all for watching. If you want to check the games out, then do so, and I'll see you next time.